Hi, Wei. How are you?
Hi, Judy. Thank you for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. It's so nice to meet you face to face finally.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
So, Wei, today we're going to talk a bit about your background, your career, and how you became a TCM practitioner and also Qigong master as well as an instructor. So, Wei, can you share first about your career background?
Yes, I was trained as a scientist.
Okay.
I came to the US to uh, study for my PhD, doctorate in philosophy in biology. Yeah, so I got the degree, and so I started my working career in the corporate world for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I think it might be just life has its plans. So it was back in about 2010 that I ended up meeting my spiritual teacher, Shi Zhao, and also another teacher, Fu Feng, and whose English name is Joey. And
Mm-hmm.
Joey and Dr. Wu are friends.
Oh, wow.
I met
Okay.
Dr. Wu, yeah, through Joey. At that time, Dr. Wu was teaching a weekly Tai Chi class at
Mm-hmm.
Joey's house in Newton. So I attended the class. So I met Dr. Wu, and Dr. Wu. Oh, this little story. I came to the U.S. and I was suffering from like a pollen allergy every spring.
Oh, wow.
It was
Pollen?
getting, yeah, was
Mhm.
the seasonal allergy. It was getting so bad that I was feeling like my eyes were so itchy, runny nose, sneezing nonstop. I
Mhm.
tried all of those, the over-the-counter medicines. Usually, something works for a year or two and then just stop working.
Right.
I remember one spring after the Tai Chi class, and I told Dr. Wu about my allergy. And Dr. Wu came and just pressed it on my neck. And at that time, I didn't know what it was. I just know that it was very painful.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And now I've studied Tui Na with Dr. Wu. So it was gallbladder 20.
Oh, wow.
And he really digged in there for only less than 1 minute. And then that was the evening class. And then the next morning I woke up, all my symptom was gone. I was never felt so clear for since with seasonal allergy. It really just I just feel like I was in a fog all day. It was so good. It was so amazing. And that less than a minute of treatment lasted for several days. And then slowly symptoms started to come back. But that was my first experience with Tui Na that made me becoming to realize, wow, this
There's
is
something there.
there's
Yeah.
something that's really working in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's incredible. I actually would like to delve a little deeper into that. So when Dr. Wu pushed one of your Tui Na points, I assume it's acupressure points,
yes.
you called it the gallbladder line, right? And so he pushed it for only a minute, and you said for like the next few days, your allergies were cleared.
No symptom, totally gone. It was so amazing.
That is
Yes. I
amazing.
didn't
So,
believe that that could happen. Yeah, until it happened to me. That was my personal experience.
yeah,
Yes.
it's hard for a lot of people to believe,
Mhm.
actually. So, can you share what is happening? What is happening during that process when he's pushing that acupressure point of the gallbladder? Like, what is happening with the energy, the chi, the blood
Yes.
circulation?
Yes, I'm happy to do that. So gallbladder 20 is an acupressure point. Chinese name is Feng Chi Xue. Feng means wind. Chi means the moat, like the protection against the water protecting a castle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
From the name, yeah, the Chinese name of a point is not named randomly. Is I believe the ancestors really understand the energy pattern and the function for each point.
Right.
They name it accordingly. So this wind mode means this is a point that's important for protecting us against wind symptoms. Wind symptoms is a Chinese medicine term, things that comes and go or affecting by external wind or internal wind. Like allergy, that itchiness, runny nose can be related with wind.
Oh, wow.
Actually, this whole line between our scalp and our neck
Hmm.
in our Feng Yang system of Tui Na. So that's Dr. Wu's Tui Na system. That's what we all learned from Dr. Wu. This
Hmm.
whole line is called the wind line. So when
Right.
we do tune up for our patients, we're always working along this line because
Hmm.
this is a very important line to work on. There's a lot of important points there that all of those points help with symptoms in our head region. That's one of the
Interesting.
functions. There's many functions for this line, but one of
Right.
them, for example, Dr. Wu had patients with stroke, and when you're working on, so that's one of the emergency treatment places.
Right.
If
I heard
somebody
about
has
that,
a
the wind
stroke,
line.
yeah, you're
Hmm.
working on this line, you make sure that the energy and blood circulation can keep going up to our brain, and that will make quite a big difference for the recovery after the stroke. Because
Right.
when energy and blood circulation and nutrients get to our brain, the cells will be able to sustain rather than lacking of energy and oxygen from the blood circulation. That's a cause for a lot of damages for stroke patients. So
Yeah,
that's on the
that.
guideline. So basically, this gallbladder 20
Mhm.
is important points we use to deal with any symptoms that's in the head, including a lot of allergy symptoms like eyes, itchy
Mm.
eyes, nose, yeah, any feelings around
Right.
the head, yeah, those kind of
Yeah,
that's
that's
important.
incredible.
Mm.
So you're saying like once you do the wind line and the acupressure points of the wind line across, it's opening up the stagnations in your head, I assume, like any stagnation, and you're bringing oxygen. You said oxygen and the chi and blood circulation into your head?
Yeah, that basically keep the energy channel open.
Right.
So therefore, energy can
Can
flow,
move.
can
Right.
move to the region that needs. And
Right.
energy is what can help with blood circulation because
Right.
blood circulation needs energy to move.
Right.
Chinese medicine has a phrase, 气行则血行.
Right.
Qi is the energy. 气行 means qi moves. 血 means blood.
Hmm.
Then pushes the blood to move.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, so this experience that you had with Dr. Wu with your pollen allergy and the acupressure points of Tui Na, so that prompted your interest in learning more about this ancient modality?
That definitely is one reason. Another
Yes.
reason is that starting in 2014, I started to work with Dr. Wu. I was
Okay.
helping him translate some of the
Oh,
Chinese
you're a
medicine
translator.
articles, yeah,
Oh,
into
wow.
English to help educate our patients.
Mm-hmm.
Because we realize that the importance of knowledge.
Right.
Like for example, like you're saying, a lot of people don't know other ways. They don't really know GB20 can help with that. So we
Yeah.
realize that to spread this knowledge to more and more people, have them know that there is other options than just the over the counter or even other more severe allergy drugs.
Right. I
It's
think,
helping for people.
right. And I think, Wei, what's happening is just, most people just are very stuck in the conventional medicine, the Western medicine. It's all they know. And if it's all you know, that's where you go to, right? But
Exactly.
like what
You
you're
can only
saying,
make decision
yeah,
based on what you know, like you were saying.
right.
That's right. So to know that there's other option, just that, I think I found it being very helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
think
that's
now people are more open because they realize that the pharmaceutical industry and, popping pills, it's just not working. It's not sustainable. So they're looking for other ways to heal themselves. I think
mhm,
everyone knows for the short term and immediate needs, that's okay,
mhm.
but it's not for longevity, nor is it good for longevity. Um, Wait, besides the educational factor of people not knowing about TCM, what else do you think is lacking in the knowledge of healthcare right now? Like, what do you see are some, I don't want to call them errors, but what do you see as some areas that needs improvement in our healthcare system?
That is a very good question.
Just from your perspective and
Yeah.
your experience,
What,
this is purely
sure.
your perspective.
Hmm. What comes to mind is that I feel that our society can use more education about self-healing
Self-healing.
and
Wow.
also for bring the power of decision making uh, to bring back the power of decision making rather than
Right.
relying on medicine, relying on the doctor's opinions.
But why do you think that is, though? I mean, how did this happen? How did we get here? I mean, how did it happen that we didn't have that self-empowerment and self-healing, and we're always relying on external sources to help us? I mean, what happened there? Like,
Mhm.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, a very good question. From my own experience, I think one is that, again, we're back to lack of knowledge. Because, for example, even I grow up, and it seems to be if we're not feeling well, we go to the doctors, we go to
Right,
the
that's true.
hospital, right?
Mhm.
And other times you just very busy with what you do. Uh, we we all work very hard, and the
Right,
society have feeling that the harder you work, and
right.
that's like the like you're more be able to achieve. So we're lacking that kind of balance
Mm,
about oftentimes if we learn, we know how to self-heal, we're more become more in tune with our body, then a lot of probably doesn't need to get to the stage that we will need to go to the hospital, go to a specialist. Because
right.
we were able to take care of our body, and then know how to deal with some small issues. You'll
Before it
never
becomes bigger, right.
exactly. That's what in Chinese medicine we have this phrase 上医治未病, which means the top level doctor. For example, here we were thinking the people who can treat all those like hard to treat, nobody like really difficult problems are the best doctor, which is exactly the opposite from the traditional Chinese medicine point of view.
Hmm.
上医治未病 means that the top level doctors deal with the problem before it becoming a disease.
Okay,
So
so
we won't
interesting.
even let the the imbalance to the level that it become a disease.
Right.
At that level, it's very easy to regain your balance if we realize that, if we can bring awareness to
Mm-hmm.
ourselves and have the knowledge to know when our body is out of balance.
So you're saying that the problem was already fixable at a base level before it had to elevate or escalate to the top doctors of specialty. That's really interesting because no one really talks about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
that's like an approach that I've never heard a conventional medicine doctor talk about.
Yeah. I mean, for example, like if you're trying to roll a rock down the hill, if
Right.
we first start, it's very easy to stop it. But once it's
Yes.
created
Before it goes
momentum
too
to get
deep.
to the bottom of the hill, you don't want to be in the way of the rock because
Right.
you know you
Yeah.
can't stop it. It's just going to crush you. So
Right.
deal with the problem at the beginning. It will be so
Yeah.
much easier. Yeah.
No, that's a great point. Wei, when you were speaking about, what was lacking, you feel like it's the knowledge and sharing, exposing TCM to the mainstream more and educating them on what it does naturally. I'm also curious to know, do you think it's a cultural issue as well? Because I mean, I don't know if it's American, Asian, European, it doesn't really matter, but I think in some ways, I feel like there's a tendency for American culture to be much more materialistic and to be more focused on making money, and they will sacrifice their health and pretty much everything to pursue a career or to make a lot of money. But it happens with the Asian cultures. Japanese and Chinese are very well known for that, as being workaholics, especially in the modern era. I'm not talking about the ancient era, but I think in modern society of all cultures, there's this kind of upside down priority of lifestyle and value system. Do you feel that that is a part of us being lost and not knowing our priorities in life, and that's why our health is suffering as a byproduct? Or
That's a very good point. I think this you brought up a very good point because I think it's probably not Western and Eastern. It's more from my experience since I grew up in China and then I've lived over 20 years in the US.
right.
I think it's more of worldwide,
Yeah, I think it's modern
uh,
society
modern society.
with the
True.
technologies,
Yes.
social
Mm,
media,
mm,
not engaging as much in person. Everyone thinks social media is a part of engagement. Like we've lost that human interaction, I think, more. So, that's
yeah.
just what I see, but curious to know yours.
Yeah, I agree. I think we are more and more focused on the how would I say
Materialism,
it? Yeah, external
external,
affairs,
right?
events, yeah, things we own, relationships. We we're losing a little balance
Mm,
to connect with ourselves. That's
right.
why sometimes my experience, my personal experience, I used to be um, like I was in graduate school. In graduate school, I work at least 6 days a week. Even on the seventh day, some every
Wow.
now and then I don't go to lab on Sundays, but I feel guilty. So even
Mm,
I'm resting, my mind, my heart cannot
wants to
rest.
keep going, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because when you're it was driven by I feel that the more you achieve and that somehow you're um, accomplishing your life's goal, you um, fully realizing yourself
right.
and being not doing anything or seemingly not doing anything is not being is being looked upon as a negative thing.
Yeah, no, I can relate to this, and I agree, because I think high achievers, high performers, they really don't know how to chill out. They don't know how to relax as much, I feel. I feel like they are somewhat programmed to keep going and achieve more, especially the more successful people. I see that they just can't even stop. They just have
Mm,
to keep going because
yeah.
they don't want to lose what they have. And so there's a barometer of their achievement level now, but there's a cost to that. And I think people are seeing the cost. I mean, when I talked to Dr. Wu, on another interview, he was saying, these people that make 50, 100 million, whatever the monetary amount is, they're usually the sickest ones.
Yeah, I that's life losing, not being balanced.
Yeah,
It took me many, many years to learn that. I'm still learning about, gaining,
right,
having the balance.
right.
And that brings back to also self-healing and aware
Yeah,
is that we can't have the balance until we able to be in touch truly with ourselves.
right.
Uh, and qigong and tai chi, that's what we're talking about self-healing. And there are
Right,
other ways, meditation, but qigong and tai chi are very good ways to help us to
right.
keep us healthy and 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 help with healing our body.
Yeah, so I was going to segue and talk about that. And just to let you know, we're moving really quickly in this interview, so we got limited time. Real quick, so I wanted to talk about Qigong and Tai Chi because you are a Qigong instructor, and you mentioned this is one of the therapies for TCM in calming your energy and balancing your internal organs, your spirit, your emotions. So when you do Tai Chi and Qigong, what is happening there exactly? Like when you're doing these movements, what are these movements actually doing to your body?
Good question. For example, from the name Qigong, so Qi means energy, our vital energy.
Right,
Gong just means practice that helps our body. One is to make to help the body's energy free flow smoothly. Another is to strengthening, so we have more energy. So from the name, and Tai Chi is, you can say it as a form of Qigong. So Qigong is this big umbrella. So all that exercise, even standing meditation, like 站桩, that's a form of Qigong. So any movement that was helping is working with our body's energy level can be considered a form of Qigong.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, for example, there are many ways to heal. We can use herbs, but to be able to become an expert on herbs, you need years of training. Like Dr. Wu's been doing it his lifetime.
Right,
With Qigong, with Tai Chi, they're very easy to learn. Everybody, especially Qigong, and you don't really have any need to have any prior experience, and you
right.
can start to
Yeah.
do qigong. You can start to feel the benefit. So that's a very good way to make that becoming part of our routine, and
Right.
that's something like we do for our health.
But Wei, is like when you're talking about the Qigong and the movements, I mean, besides the mental and spiritual aspect of calming yourself and centering yourself, like the actual movements, are they massaging your internal organs or is it opening up the meridian lines? What is going on physically? I'm curious.
It it works on the meridian lines
Okay.
and open, yeah, and it works on the there. For example, there's some movement we can do that helps opening up channels. For example, this movement using our pericardium 8, 劳宫穴, right here, which is one of the important gates in our body. And you use that, even simple things, you use the 劳宫穴, you bring that energy down around to your hands, and that just help opening up channels that goes from your body to
Right.
the side of your hands to your fingers.
Do you feel heat? Because I feel heat. Do you feel heat? Okay, is that normal to feel heat when you're
Well,
doing Qigong? Okay, and you can feel the energy move. I can feel
that's
it.
right.
Okay,
Heat, sometimes heat, some people feeling tingling.
right. Yeah,
Some people
I
feel
felt that
like
before.
they can feel, for example, when they do this, they can feel almost like there is a suction.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are all ways to be able to feel that energy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I actually love it. I love Tai Chi and Qigong. I think it's like a perfect like preparation for other sports, to be honest, too.
I do it every day. I have
Do
to say,
you?
if I notice if there's few days if I don't do it, I can notice my body's difference. Like my body getting tighter, more stiff. Yeah. And then just you just feel like you were talking about, qigong is not just it's about it's let's say it's beneficial to us from the body, mind, and spirit level. From the body's level, through the movement, there are different exercises we can opening up, stretch out, relieve the tension for any parts, neck, shoulder, our whole body. So it helps with the body level. And with the mind level, it will be, it's when when our energy, when our energy can flow freely, it helps with our mind. It helps ground us, help
Hmm.
us feel peaceful, help us feeling
Oh,
that
wow.
joy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I feel when I practice qigong.
right.
People, my student was saying, "Oh, I love your smile." I didn't do that on purpose. It's just when your body moves in like a harmony with your energy, there's that kind of internal joy that just comes out. And that just I can't stop but smiling.
Do you think because when you're doing that, are you harmonizing with the universal force? Are you harmonizing with God, the universal mind, the universal force? Or are you tuning in with yourself, or is it both of everything?
Mm, yeah, qigong, some there are movements for helping us to connect with
The
Chinese medicine.
universe?
We say 天地人. Tian is the heaven, Di is the earth, Ren is human. So that's the three important parts in nature.
So you're connecting with the universal forces, like what you're saying, heaven, the earth, nature, yourself. It just sounds like when you do Qigong and Tai Chi, you're kind of like you're opening, you're opening it all
Mm.
to the energies around you, the universal force, it sounds like, which is, yeah, that's really, really cool. Um,
Yeah, just feels that we're part of nature. So when opening up, we don't have to be intentionally feeling like what's happening to our body. Just that through the exercise, I think you just feel that
you're like
being,
in the zone. You're
yeah,
like in the
being
zone,
exactly
right?
that's the word, be in the zone, right? So your
Zone,
mind
right,
is actually not actually thinking what I'm
right.
connecting,
You're
how am I feeling, but just be with
mm.
the movement. Yeah.
So it's a lot like, it's a lot like people, when they're in that zone in sports, like in surfing or in tennis, when they're playing and they're not even thinking anymore because they're in the zone of the flow state. So is that similar to Qigong and Tai Chi when you're like in the flow state and you're not thinking and you're fully present basically?
That's the Tao.
Oh,
That
wow.
that
That
is
is
the
the
Tao.
Tao. Yeah.
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 Whatever we do, we can, if we get into that flow state, we connect with the Tao.
That's awesome. I think the
And
audience would love to hear this. We've got less than a minute left, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to part
sure.
two. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to continue to part two. So wait, I had no idea that being in the flow state and being in the zone was the Tao. I didn't make that connection at all until you said something. So thank you so much for sharing that. And
Welcome.
and I think most of the people and the audience don't know that as well, because I think people tend to separate spirituality, religion, whatever their belief system is. They don't think of Tao as part of flow state. I would have never thought that. I mean, I just thought it was Buddhism, or some sort of more of a conceptual way of practicing, nurturing your spirit. I just thought that was really neat. Um, can you share that if someone does practice more Taoism and the Qigong and the Tai Chi, is that going to maybe maybe spill over to something else in their life? Like if they were in a professional sport, or they're an athlete, do you feel that is going to help contribute that flow state in sports performance
I absolutely.
and business probably too, right?
Yeah,
Everything.
yeah. My view, Tao is the way of nature, the world.
Mm,
And to connect with Tao is like connecting with the source. A lot of famous, whether they're musicians, they're artists, and they have say similar things. For example, when they're doing their best work, it's as if like they are not the one that's performing. I think Michael Jackson said something, example saying, I didn't write the music. The music came through me.
yeah, I love
That's
that.
when he's in the flow state. And that's the state of being connected with the Tao. And whatever we do, there are ways to, let me rephrase this. We can connect with Tao in whatever we do. For example, in Zhuangzi's book, Zhuangzi is one of the famous Taoist masters, and he's really good at telling stories, using fables, using analogies to convey the meaning of Tao, the philosophy of Tao. And he often used examples of just common people. For example, there's a chef that's in the story. That's a very famous story called Bao Ding Jie Niu. And the chef, Bao Ding, he talked about, there was such a lovely story talking about how just through him doing his work and how he connects with the Tao. And in the story, he was able to teach the king, and the king was learning
From
how
him.
how to have a better life from someone, a chef.
Yeah.
There's also a story about someone making wheels that are teaching like the prince, and that's what it's seeing. That doesn't matter in what field, if we are able to connect to that flow state, to the Tao, and that's where a lot of people have like sometimes the instinct, or what's the word, intuition,
Inspiration. Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah, that's where it come from. And that is never tiring, because we're working from using our mind and our little ego in a way, even though it's a just from our point of view with our mind, we can really gets tired out, and it could probably shows on our body. But if we're able to connect, and for doing this, like Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation are all good trainings. And what you said is really good, because the idea of practicing meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, it's not having that becoming a separate thing in life. This is what I practice,
Right,
and this is
right.
my life. The idea is exactly through practicing this, and in a way, we are slowly making that state becoming part of our life.
Yeah,
And
no.
Tai Chi should be becoming everything we do. I noticed that when I practice Tai Chi, it really is helping me. Like, for example, even the simple things, as if like I'm opening a door, that's different. I realize that how I'm doing it, rather than using the strict force, I'm using this roundish movement. I was telling one of my friends that I'm opening door using Tai
Yeah,
Chi. They're
yeah.
all laughing, but that's true. It becomes it's just becoming part of you. That basically you're retraining yourself to how to better use your body, use this vehicle, not just body and mind, and more efficiently, more healthily. It's we burn it. It's like, for example, all your energy is a candle. If you know how to have this candle last longer, or you can
Mhm.
see it as a car. If you know how to maintain the car, and it will drive longer.
Yeah, no, this is such spiritually rich information. Thank you so much, Wei. I mean, I love hearing this from you and learning from you. And it just it sounds like if you truly practice Taoism and become Tao, then the effortlessness is your strength. I mean, I think everyone needs to hear this because so many people operate from the mental, egoic self and they're burnout all the time. And I think when you are operating more on the Tao spiritual and truly integrating that philosophy and practice through the Qigong Tai Chi, you are becoming it. And when you become it, you are literally translating all areas of your life because of it. Like what you're saying, you're no longer using physical effort to open the door. It's just a slow, easy, effortless movement. It's effortless to talk to people. It's effortless to do work. It's effortless to perform now rather than this constant need to be like strong, fierce, and great. And I think a lot of people operate from that level and they're
Mhm.
always working out, they're working many hours, and that makes sense because most of the world is burnout, I think, and they don't know how to navigate through life in an easier way. And so just you sharing that, I think people can now understand or have an option to, oh, you could live life in a softer way. Softer way doesn't mean weaker, it's actually stronger. I mean, I love that. I wish we could have another interview on just this alone. So I will see if I could get another interview with just talking about this
Yes,
Taoist philosophy and the way of
yes,
life and the
yeah.
effortless life.
You
Um,
really brought up that core philosophy of Taoism, which is Wu Wei. Wu Wei
okay,
is
yes,
effortless power. Yeah.
right.
And for example, like even just a simple example, when I teach Qigong, at the end, I will having students to working on our head to do the self acupressure massage on the head. And you can tell difference if we're just, like I said, just using your fingertips to hit your head, and we're actually using a lot of like we're holding our wrist and things are maybe tight. But if I tell you relax your wrists, relax it, just let your finger bounce,
Relax it.
relax. So what you will notice a difference, because when
Mhm.
you can relax and let your finger just bounce, one is easier for your body, the effortless power. Two is that the energy actually can go deeper.
Oh, really?
When you're actually
Wow.
working, yeah, when you use less force and the energy, it actually you get better effect because the energy can go deeper.
Wow, that's incredible. I had
Yeah.
no idea. Oh, wow. Um, yes, I definitely will see if I could get another interview on this topic. We have to move on. I'm curious to know, Wei, how long have you known Dr. Wu?
I know Dr. Wu since 2010.
Okay,
So that's 14,
about 14 years.
13 years.
Right.
Although 2010, yeah.
And what
13
is
years.
it like to work with him, be his patient, be his colleague, his friends, your overall experience with Dr. Wu?
Wow, I think you need to give me 2 hours for that, but I will make it short.
Yes, yes,
Dr. Wu, certainly I've learned so much from him, both
yeah,
the knowledge for TCM, Tui Na, Tai Chi. But I have to say, I think the most important is he for me is really an example in my life
right.
in the way that that seeing him, how he deal with things in his life,
Hmm.
he really is embodiment of Tao. You just that being with him and it's that's to me is probably closest to how a
Experiencing.
person living according to Tao
Wow.
is like. For example, during COVID and the whole society, we're all in such fear. Everybody has to stay in their house. People are afraid to go out. People are afraid to have any contact with anyone. And he's that he's not afraid.
Yeah,
He's yeah, and then he's being, you know, that being with him and feel that kind of calmness, that energy, I think really helped my mental state, helped me to be able to go through that tough period of time. So he really is an example.
yeah, it sounds like a perfect role model. And
Exactly, that's the word, role model. Yes.
yeah, I think he's a role model for many areas, not just in the medical practice of what a medical doctor looks like, in which one of the patients expressed already is that this is what a real doctor looks like, for one. Two, as a friend, as just someone that really is in tune with God, spirituality, the Tao, and even as a spiritual leader, a spiritual example of that, and just really just an awesome human being, it sounds like. I mean, now it's like hearing from all these patient reviews. I think I need to fly out there and hang out with him more. Which I
Come.
probably need to do,
Yes,
you know.
you're very welcome. You really feel that there is a very unique energy at the office.
Yes, I've heard that.
Yeah, people come, they feel that. I remember one of our patients says it's like coming into a different um, world.
Different
I don't know
realm.
if she's specific,
Yeah.
yeah, different realm, because she was out of the world, it was busy, with all the stuff that she needs to do in her life. But then when she stepped into the office and she really feel that the difference, she was able to relax. We just everybody have that conversation and welcoming that feeling. Yeah, so many patients have told me that they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
office.
I've heard
So
that too.
yeah, it's much more than a healing Chinese medicine
Mhm.
treatment place. It's
Yeah.
really a place that people really can feel that healing is happening, not just on the body level.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like it's a sanctuary, and it feels like coming home. I mean, even I feel like that as well, working with a lot of people in my 20 years. I never really encountered someone that I feel at home with, and it's a wonderful feeling. I'm very grateful for that as well. Um,
Yeah, me too. Grateful for Dr. Wu.
yes. Do you have more words of gratitude about that, or do you want to express anything more?
Yeah, I am just very grateful that yeah, I got to meet Dr. Wu and for his openness, for accepting me as a student, for as a someone to work with him. Yeah, so have the opportunity to learn from him. Yeah, he's just a wealth of knowledge in
Right.
so many ways. Yeah, and
Well,
just
awesome.
yeah, being the, I think just like you said, being having that a role model in your life is really priceless.
Yes, that's really awesome. Thank you so much, Wei, and thank you so much for your time on this interview. I enjoyed it. I hope to interview again. Thanks, Wei. Have a good one.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.